Coach, before we talk about the game, though, can you address what an atmosphere tonight, for basketball?
Yeah, I mean, Friday night basketball in rural Minnesota with two good basketball teams, the way it should be. Great atmosphere, a lot of people here, a lot of connections on both sides. And, kind of talked about that a little bit with our guys here in the last couple days is, it's part of being part of, a program like Melrose and a program like Sauk Center is that you get to play in games like this and get to have crowds like this, which is awesome.
Because just the competition is going to be good. Sauk Center, you've got West Central next week, you've got Albany coming up. Boy, it just goes on and on, doesn't it?
Right. And something like this, just because we're 8 miles apart, that doesn't necessarily mean it's automatically a rivalry or a big game. It's that there's talent, right? And there's tradition and there's good players. And so people want to come and they want to watch good basketball. So what else will we do in the winter, right?
Yep. I'm going to guess your game plan is certainly to try to slow up and do the best you can against Jay Newbert. For the most part, Melrose did that. But you got to give Sauk Center credit. Some other players really came through for them.
Yeah, I mean, that becomes the problem with a team like Sauk Center and why they're really good is they just have multiple weapons. And so, you want to say, well, what should we do with Newbert? Well, if you do too much with him, they've got plenty of other guys, and he's such a veteran presence with them that he's fine with sharing the ball, and they got a lot of guys that can do a lot of different things, and they've played a lot of basketball together, and you can tell that they're a pretty veteran team with the way that they move the basketball, and all 5 guys for them on the court are a threat, and that makes it difficult. You got to play a lot of good one-on-one defense, and so yeah, I thought Sauk's offense today was very good.
Because I'm sure the same thing is, if you were coaching against the Melrose team, you're thinking, we got to do a job on Ronnie Engelmeyer and Anderson too. But then it's up to the other guys to try to come through with something, right?
Oh, right, absolutely. I mean, that's why this is an ultimate team game, right? You got to be able to move the ball. You got to be able to have different people make different plays, and that's the fun of it. And the ball moves and should end up in somebody's hand that you have confidence in, that we do. And Sauk is just a little bit better with those things tonight.
What was it for Newbert tonight? He only had the 2 baskets. How type of defense that you were playing against them tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think Sam Waylock is a phenomenal defender, and he doesn't back down from anybody. And so he likes those challenges, and Max Waylock was in on him as well. And so and part of the thing, too, obviously, is that there's a lot of attention paid to someone like Newbert, right? So when he drives, there's multiple guys there, and he did a nice job of finding other guys.
As you look at this Melrose team, and again with the schedule that you have coming up, I know that these guys, there's times out there to where the flow just doesn't seem to be there at times. How do you kind of fight through that?
Yeah, I would say, first of all, it's a lot of Sauk Center's defense. They're pretty good, pretty physical, and wear you down, and nothing's real easy. So, and the other thing with that, it sounds simplistic, but when shots go in, right, then it seems like offense flows a little bit. But that's the way basketball goes, especially against good defensive teams, is sometimes it's kind of ugly, and you got to be able to cut hard and move the basketball. So, in a roundabout way to answer your question, it's just about practice and about working and finding openings and watching film and trying to locate different areas that you can, find some success.
Well, once again, and we talk about this every game, just the play of Ronnie Engelmeyer with what he can do out there. We see this so often with him. He's just got every move out there. He just is always under control. I'm sure he's a pleasure to coach too, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's great. He just brings it every day. I wish people could watch some of our practices. He's our most, amongst our most active guys on defense, talking, communicating, leading, working, even in little, shooting drills. He's working. He's doing all those little things to be able to, be a great player. So, yeah, I mean, we wind down on a career like his, and I hope the Melrose fan base and other fan bases enjoy watching a player like that.
Yeah. It's certainly a lot of fun to watch. But again, you have to recover, right? Because West Central's going to roll in here because you beat them at the buzzer. Then you got Albany. What are those teams? How are they playing right now, especially Albany?
Yeah, so we look at the schedule at the beginning of the year, and then we knew there's a couple rough, tough opponents. And this is obviously one stretch like that. And, I think our guys are very much positioned personality-wise to handle a loss like this and then coming back on Tuesday against West Central, because they keep a pretty even keel when it's higher and it's low within a game, and they'll be fine. Tomorrow we got our alumni tournament, and they'll be working that, and they'll be fine and frustrated and disappointed and all that type of stuff. But because West Central's very good, obviously. I mean, they're, I think at the beginning of the year, everyone would kind of put them in Sauk Center as the top 2 in the conference, and then us and Montevideo and Morris were kind of fighting right in there and Bold and all that. So, so it's going to be a tough game, and we have no fear, and we'll bring it, but it could go any way. It could end up like this. We don't know.
I want you to touch on too the section as we look at some of these teams. We know Albany, we know Annandale, got Sauk Center, then Melrose and Osakis, but then Legacy and Spectrum, two schools. First of all, where are they and who are they?
Yeah. Right, so Legacy is out of Andover, I believe, and Spectrum is out of the kind of the Elk River-ish area, and we went down there a couple years ago and played. They're teams that we don't know a lot about, but they have both been very willing to play Section 6 AA teams, which is great. And they played each other last night, and so we've seen them play, each of them play a little bit, and they're both solid teams. And Legacy beat Annandale, and Spectrum took Annandale right down to the wire. So that's all pretty much you need to know about them. So it's going to be a very, very difficult race as well. I mean, just to get a home playoff game is difficult. And then, as always with 6AA, that second round is always just, the first round's tough, but the second round is just a gauntlet, right? I mean, eight teams that go to St. John's on that one Saturday is always just a fun day.
Oh, yeah. To win this section, man, you have to weather storm after storm, don't you?
Yeah, you do. And, you got to be healthy, right? I don't know about luck, but sometimes it's matchups, right? And then sometimes just playing well or having a good night, For example, tonight, and a lot of it had to do with Sox defense, and we shot the lowest three-point percentage we've shot all year, right? And we're, I think, a pretty good shooting team. And sometimes you have those nights, and if it's against a good team, you're probably going to lose.
So the alumni tournament tomorrow, how many teams do you have?
Yeah, we've got 6 teams, and it sounds like there's right around 9-ish, 10-ish on a team. So we're upwards of 55, 60 alumni that are coming back. We'll be in the gym tomorrow playing some basketball. So that'll be fun.
Well, as you pointed out, you could see with the teams from the 70s, 5 straight trips to the state tournament. Good ceremony here tonight. It's just Melrose hoops. You love it, don't you?
Yeah, Scott Braver, our former assistant coach, is kind of the historian, and he went back and looked at the career winning percentage of Melrose, because I think we've maybe played 2,500 games or something like that, and it was over 60% victory or winning percentage, and then maybe even into 65% of Melrose basketball in the history since 1901. So it's a basketball town, it's a basketball community, it's a basketball area, and so it's fun to be in this community. It's also fun to have communities like Sauk Center and Albany right on neighboring us, because they're basketball towns too.